What's up, guys? Justin here. Let's talk about the weather. There's a storm coming up. It looks like Sunday night. I have it labeled as like Sunday night, but I think it could be starting as early as Saturday evening with rain showers, and Sunday turning maybe changing over to snow for a little bit. I'm not sure how much it's going to accumulate, and then on Sunday being the main event, we'll talk about that. Let's go into current situation across Wisconsin. This is the weather wall here on WisconsinDebacks.com showing these are snow showers, and there might be more like rain mixed in there down in here. But I'm seeing reports popping up of what looks like about a 1 inch, and just to make sure that that's not. We'll go to that in a second, but I just want to make sure that's not hail. But we have a flood advisory here across western Lake Michigan. Eastern Lake Michigan. So I think that's probably from the wind. When you get wind pushing, it kind of creates like a meteo tsunami. As it's called. So, and then you have a wind advisory down here across the south. I'm not sure what the information is on that, but I mean, it's going to apply to Sunday night too, but probably for more of a, probably right now is probably what it's applicable for. Okay, let's go look at the chase map so we can get some more information on those. We're just talking about those snow reports out near Minneapolis. 1.5 inch. Oh, Facebook Messenger, huh? That's quite the reported via Twitter, man. Social media rocking it for the National Weather Service over there. So yeah, just a couple inch reports there. But look at how small these showers are. So it tells you that it can drop like super fast. It's like an insta blizzard or a really really quick snow squall. I mean, the snowfall rates on that must be like close to 2 inches per hour or something. Take a broader look here on the chase map. You've seen those same things I showed you before, and then here's me, my location with my little on. Looks like there's some lake effect snow going on now. Everything I'm about to tell you about the storm coming up does include the snow that's probably already falling out there. I did a storm total forecast on everything, but for Wisconsin, you'll see what I mean. Okay, here's the 7 day. So here's today. We're at Thursday. It's high of 44 degrees there in central Wisconsin. A little colder north, a little warmer south. With the snow showers moving through, but overall, maybe some sun peeking out here at times. Mostly cloudy. It's just not as bad as it could look. If you're looking at it from with no background information, it's not terrible. Friday partly cloudy. Mainly, I was focused on Sunday into Monday, and I've manually went in here and changed all this around to make sure it kind of reflects what I'm thinking. This is isolated rain showers here on Saturday, like I mentioned. Rain or snow on Sunday, probably a rain to snow for some, and then on Monday, it looks like Monday a.m. the snow would really be most likely. I think later in the day it would improve with wind in there too, but I don't know how big of a story wind's going to be, and if the storm ends up being weaker, I won't worry too much about the wind. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, you do have the snow showers in here, but again, I'm optimistic that this won't be so bad, and I just kind of want to throw some sun in there because maybe there'll be some breaks. Maybe it'll be somewhat like today. So just wanted to share that the chase map is back, the maps page on the website. So that's cool. You'll see whenever there's storms around, you'll see my dot moving around to go get them. We don't want to talk about that right now. Okay, so here's what we got going on in the upper levels. This is 500 millibar. This is what I use for basically the polar jet. You can kind of see the subtropical in there a little bit too. But with this storm that's coming up, so here's Friday, you're seeing that there's a southern stream, kind of a cutoff low there, it looks like. And then that becomes integrated into the stream flow here as we go into Sunday. So you're seeing that it looks like this upper polar jet here kind of digs into this whole system. The southern stream aspect of it is leading it. And then as you go into Monday morning, things really ramp up across at the upper levels in the jet stream. You're still seeing that southern stream energy becoming integrated. This is not a very simple process here. Could be a complex and a way for things to get messed up. But you're seeing that, that thing really, really intensifies at the 500 millibar level. So you're going from earlier in the weekend where it looks pretty split flow, pretty blah, to really banging right there. And that's basically, so that's where all this storm hype, if you want to call it, I wouldn't call it hype. I think we're taking a pretty good approach to it this time, but it's coming from. There's quite a bit of jet energy going on in there. Here is the ensemble snowfall. This is smoothed out. You're not seeing the peaks. It's sort of like an in-between. It's just a kind of a gauge to see where the location of that snow might be. Again, I haven't showed you anything else. I kind of made this a little bit out of order, but you're seeing kind of in here, we're kind of watching out for snow potential Sunday night, Monday. We don't have to talk about that right now. Actually, we'll just switch the order over. So here's the GFS. This is the 06Z. Ideally, you'd want the 12Z at this stage. It is 10. It's close to 11 a.m. here on Thursday. So we're just outside of that 12Z. Actually, this is the 12Z, but we're going to switch it over to the 6Z because it's not complete. Basically, we're right at the edge of that model initialization for the latest data. So tomorrow you'll have more updated information too. But anyways, yeah, here's that storm coming out on Saturday. You're seeing that across southern Wisconsin, probably the best chance for scattered showers. Again, this is Wisconsin up in here. I can zoom in a little bit closer maybe. And then as you see, as we go into Sunday, this is 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. More rain kind of overspreading the state. You're probably getting that warm air advection there, on the warm front there leading out ahead of the storm. But you're seeing that here's a low pressure center is sort of here, but it's kind of a broad area because this one over here is where it's developing, kind of coalescing, and here's kind of that initial southern stream energy kicking out like that. But you're seeing from west to east some snow kind of moving and the colder air arriving and turning this over to snow for Wisconsin. So yeah, starting as rain probably, and then it kind of goes over to snow. We'll see how that accumulation works out because at this stage it looks like it's pretty close to 7 p.m. now as that changeover is occurring. So it's really starting at the beginning of the night. And you know that with the sun this time of year, you typically, it's snowing like crazy outside. With the sun this time of year, you typically won't get as much accumulation right there on the middle of the day as much. Again, not every situation is that way. But when you have it at night, it becomes favorable, easier for accumulation. And that's what we're seeing here. So the timing works out for snow. This is just, again, the GFS. There's a little differentiation. There's little differences between the European and the GFS and Canadian, all models, the ensembles. So this is not set in stone by any means, but you're seeing that here, snow. So that's interesting for, this is close to 1 a.m. on Monday. We'll see how that works out, the timing. Again, this is continuing on towards 7 a.m. on Monday. And then maybe even still snowing closer to noon. But I think that that point is probably winding down. It's going to get windy then for a while there Monday night into Tuesday. And then it'll kind of let up a little bit. But at that point now, it looks like here, once we get on the other side of the system, pretty cold air that's moved into here. Okay, this is seasonably below average colder air for a big chunk of the United States. Now, we'll see. We'll see how it does over this part. Oops, that's a nice square I just drew there. We'll see how it does over here. I don't know. I mean, I'm not too optimistic about how far south this can go. We'll see. I might be limited to kind of like this area or this area. So we'll see about that. And that's probably about as far as I'm going to take this run. You're seeing that as you move into middle of April, nothing major. Yet. I mean, these things can change wildly in that time frame. But maybe a system here. But again, that's kind of good news. And sometimes when you have a major system, potentially with this Sunday night, Monday system, you don't always get one. Get them back to back to back. Not always. Sometimes. All right. So that's that. Here's the ensemble kind of variations. They're really hard to see. I'm just kind of looking through it to say, okay, which ones kind of show that snowstorm for Wisconsin. And these are check marks that I'm trying. This one, maybe there's a timing difference there. Maybe a timing difference there. Good. So, we're going through this and saying, yes, snow for Wisconsin for all of these. Maybe a timing difference, maybe timing, maybe timing. So this is where we get our confidence from on this aspect. But again, it's not to say that it won't, things can't change, because it seems like this winter, right around this forecast hour, it's like models are generally in agreement and then all of a sudden they diverge. And it's like, oh my gosh, and that kind of derails everything. So we don't want to go down that route of worst case scenario. We kind of want to stay right there in the middle and wait for things to sort of work themselves out. Just a brief look at the AO. Now, we're not negative. We are in slightly neutral, if not positive, heading towards more of a positive. But I would consider us to be in sort of a neutral band here, more than positive. I think that's a distinct mode, because then you can kind of get these moments where we dip down and then up and down. And it's not, the Arctic oscillation is a little bit more relaxed now. So that's a positive for stormy weather. You're seeing here that the EPO is quite negative here towards heading into mid-April, but it maybe moderates there towards closer to the neutral line there. And then the PNA is sort of flipping back and forth, which is not too significant. NAO probably suggests probably not as much cold air in the east, but we'll see. I really haven't done the research on that part of it, but I'm seeing that the EPO is kind of signaling yes, we're probably going to get some cold air shots, as I mentioned earlier. This is not what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you now is as we head towards mid-April, the ensembles for these 5-day blocks. This is looking like it's going to be April, so Easter to basically that following Thursday. Let me get rid of my circle. You're seeing more cold air signals in here, okay? And I should have just showed you the operational model showing you how that cold air kind of spreads in at following that storm. So yeah, this seems to be a change going on here that might lead to colder weather mid-April into late April, but we'll see what the degree, what the significance or magnitude of it is. I think that remains to be seen. All right, let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about numbers. Now, these things, obviously, disclaimer, these things change. They change all the time, and just wait another run and they'll be different. Okay, so this is not set in stone. This is just to give you an idea of what we're kind of looking at right now and trying to hedge, how do we approach this, okay? So here's the European. This is just total precipitation, QPF. So you're getting the snow. Oops, we're drawing a sounding. It's pretty awesome now that they have these soundings on the European models. The snow here, probably mostly snow, but you're starting as rain here going over to snow. So some portion of this water liquid equivalent would probably end up being snow in this zone and further north probably. So anyways, this is not all rain. But you're saying for the European, over an inch of QPF, over an inch of rain potentially for southern Wisconsin, even into upper Michigan, depending on how that thermal profile works out. And then lower Michigan, not for sure, but it's looking pretty likely at this point on the European. We go to the GFS high res, it's a little different. I don't know if I like this model, this variation of the GFS that much, but it even goes up to 2 inches in some spots. This seems to be the highest worst case scenario at this point in the Canadian. Oh wow, okay. Well, the Canadian is pretty good at this too. So I stick to the European. What I mean, Canadian sometimes does go bonkers. So I tend to stick with the European and the GFS, but this high-res model always seems to be a little high too. So anyways, I guess in the real time, I'm kind of going back to the European here and saying I kind of like this QPF field a little bit better. So that's rainfall. Now snow. All right, this is 10-to-1 ratio, and I'm betting you that southern Wisconsin's probably not going to see 10-to-1. Up here, you might be better than 10-to-1. And then here we got the lake effect going on. This is storm total. This is actually period total. So this goes through Monday at 7 p.m. From now till then, how much snow to expect across this region, and that's what it's showing. These are pretty big numbers for this time of year, but it could be worse. We certainly in recent history, April 2018 saw a massive blizzard across northeast Wisconsin. I don't think that this storm is on that magnitude, but again, I just want to, again, like I said, these things are prone to change. It looks like the snow axis on this model is sort of like this and bullseyeing over here. If we go check out the GFS, this one's weird. What we'll do is we'll take a look at the Kuchera method for the GFS, more of the operational. I don't know this one looks a little different now. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but it looks like it's lower. We'll go back to the 10-to-1 here on the European, but basically I think that 6 inches might not be out of the question with this storm up in here. So I don't know about the southern extent, and again, this track is subject to change, so we'll see. Watching out for that. Windy conditions. Now this is the European wind gust forecast for Monday at 2 p.m. If you drop a pin in there, 38. It looks like you're dropping a pin on the wrong. 45, maybe up to that magnitude on the European. Now, if things come in weaker, you won't have as much of an issue. So, and then when you compound that with the snow possibility, I think there's a chance there that travel might not be great Sunday night. I don't know how many people are going to be traveling except for the truckers, but I just want to kind of say that maybe not the best time if things kind of work out that way. I already showed you that. This is one thing, I didn't really get a chance to look at it, but I was just looking at the 7-day precipitation anomaly. So this is looking at mid-April and then going through time, and it's actually that once you switch out of this mode that we're currently in, like with the storm coming up, that 7-day block containing that storm is going to be a little bit wetter across this region. But then once you cool it off, relative to the seasonal averages, it turns to a dry pattern. So I think the way this is going to work out is we're probably going to end up near normal, near average for April. I know this time of year is pretty good for precipitation. I know this time of year you're expecting soaking rains, so not much concern there. I think this is a pretty good signal there. So that kind of is consistent with the monthly forecast I've had for a while. Okay, here's a storm. Basically, the storm write-up that I did on the blog today, just kind of discussing the things, that overview, the generalizations, things to look out for. Here's that loop of the GFS from earlier, showing you that snow kind of breaking out across this region. And then just another infographic, just kind of showing you. But again, you have to remember, these things change. You have to check back frequently to make sure that you got the latest information. So that's that. And again, a shameless plug. If you're interested in getting just a step ahead, if you want to see, kind of what I'm thinking yesterday or the day before this thing, went to public Facebook, this is your chance. It helps support my, this is my full-time job. So go check it out. We've got a bunch of cool things here. So yeah. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully this thing doesn't come through quite as snowy. I mean, this is really kind of a bummer because we're carrying on pretty well here in the spring and maybe things will turn around a little bit. So, all right. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.